All right, good morning and welcome to another month coaching call for the HIV Continuum of Care Collaborative. My name is Christina Clark. I'm the Collaborative Project Director for the HIV Continuum of Care Collaborative. This is led by the BC Center Excellence in HIV/AIDS and made possible by the hard work and passion of all health authorities and many community groups across BC. I'm very happy to be facilitating this 10th coaching call in a series of 12 monthly coaching calls that occur from now until January. These calls are designed to provide a space for collaborative participants to share good ideas, find support to challenges, and connect with others to further our sharing aims. We invite you to participate throughout the call with questions or comments for speakers and attendees. Use the chat box at any time, which should appear on the bottom right-hand part of the screen. And during open discussion, and hopefully right now we've unmuted some of the lines so that we'll be able to hear you and you can interrupt with questions, especially during open discussion. So in today's call, we're going to talk more about measurement for improvement. I'm going to talk about where your team might be in your measurement journey and discuss more advanced topics of measurement for improvement. I'm also joined by Collaborative Medical Director, Dr. Rolando Arios, and my colleague, Stephanie Donovan, here to talk further about sources of data that are readily available for you. And in particular, they're going to explain more about the improved HIV profile report. So let's get started by setting the stage, but first, Anna is here to check the audio. Great, let's all lines are muted, I think, now, so keep going. So in this discussion of measurement for improvement, it's important to remind ourselves improvement is about first and foremost improvement and change. So you can think about measurement as being a sidekick to improvement. We use measurement to support our improvement efforts. Measurement supports improvement by telling us we are progressing towards our aims, telling us if our changes are working, telling us to see if there are any unintended negative outcomes related to a change. For example, if you seek to shorten a visit length to increase capacity, does that have the effect of decreasing patient satisfaction? Measurement also helps to communicate about our improvement efforts. Today we're past the collaborative midpoint, and most teams should be well on the way in their improvement journey and their measurement journey. Starting back in November of 2013, teams began creating aim statements and thinking about changes. In January, teams received measurement packages and began aligning measures to their aims. Many teams will have a family of measures with data presented in run charts over time. So if you started collecting back in January, you should now have 12 months of data, and that puts you into a position where you can use the run charts to look for evidence of improvement. In January 2016, we'll complete the active improvement phase of the collaborative, and we'll begin transition to a period of renewal and sustainability. And this is the time when you'll continue to collect your data that you can monitor for ongoing sustainability of improvement. If you're feeling a bit behind with this, that's okay. Everyone's at different stages, and some information presented today should be helpful to keep you moving or to keep you going. And if you're a new team member and this is unfamiliar, or if you feel like you benefit from measurement for improvement fresher, I really encourage you to read the guide measurement available resource library on the collaborative website. The link appears in the screen now. So that's one of the technical documents that was put forward in very early stages. It includes in it some of these basics around measurement for improvement, but also some of the indicators that we suggested for your measurement journey. So now let's talk about the 7 things to take your measurement to the next level. The 7 things you need to know are, first, all data is wrong, some is useful. 2, don't perfect, be the enemy of good. 3, don't go overboard. 4, get creative. 5, make it easy. 6, there's rules that. And 7, don't go alone. So let's unpack each of these. For some it's wrong, some is useful. This isn't necessarily true in and of itself. It's sort of a play on words with George Fox's famous quote about all models being wrong, some being useful. But the takeaway is to remember data have limitations. It can have bias in it, issues with accuracy. Some data may or may not risk adjusted. And if it is risk adjusted, that's an appropriate adjustment. The point is, first, an improvement we seek useful data, not perfect data. Improved data should not be research level quality. We don't want just in case data. We don't want to risk adjust. We want just enough, good enough data to learn from data and to act on it to improve our system. And this really brings us to our second point. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Improvement doesn't require perfection, it requires action. What I mean is that we can parallelize discussing all the merits of all the indicators and all the limitations of those indicators. I really like this quote, better to do something imperfectly than to do nothing perfectly. Doing something perfectly is pretty easy. You don't have to make many decisions and discuss at length. I've been to many meetings where we've discussed indicators at length. I'm guilty of doing it. Sometimes those decisions, though, mean that we have to work with imperfect data or the consolation prize indicator until we can get what we want. So if you're feeling like you're having discussions about quality of your data, about what indicators you're actually going to use, I suggest you decide if it's good enough. To decide if it's good enough, the indicator should tell you if you're reaching your aim, or should close the best case scenario that you have right now. And then you should improve it over time. The next point is to go overboard. There is a tremendous amount of information out there. Some of it is very interesting. But focus on what you need to know, because data collection and review take precious time. So you really want to do only that which adds value in your improvement efforts. And what you need to know is to answer the second question in multiple improvement. Are these changes leading to an improvement? You should have a family of 4 to 8 indicators that reflect your aim. In terms of frequency, only collect monthly where you're actively working to improve. So that is what relates directly to aim. You may have other indicators that you worked on for a long time and that have achieved high levels of performance. And these are great. And these are what you would call sustainability indicators. And you'd want to monitor them at less frequent intervals. Finally, use sampling where possible. If you're surveying, use a sample of the population. Same with needs assessment and where possible your indicators. Point 4 is get creative. Data observations and ideas don't just come from your databases or computers. Think about ways that you can observe and collect information in your environment or within your setting. So here's a few examples. In your waiting room, ask, how many pills did you miss last week? A simple visual to look at adherence levels over time. How's your overall experience in our clinic today? Another simple visual that you can count at the end of the week to find out a patient's overall experience in the clinic. Point 5 is make it easy. How many feel like your measurement group looks like this every month? Raise your hand. And for those of you looking for the hand raise button, it's right at the top of the screen. All right, looks like we have no one feels like they're for improvement. That's great. We have one. One hand raised. All right, get you to lower your hand. Perfect. How many of you feel like your measurement for improvement process looks more like this? have one hand up, right? Two hands up. Great. How many of you don't know what their measurement improvement process looks like? Look, we have no one. That's great. So the point here is that the easier your process is, the more uptake you're going to have, and the less frustrating it's going to be. Wherever possible, standardize the step for collection, reporting, and data review. So write down all those steps very clearly. One good way to do this is create your own team data guide to include all the data definitions, sources of data, the calculations you've used, tools that you might apply, and timelines for collection. And make sure you share that data guide widely so that a larger group of people know. Appoint a data lead, cross-train, and make sure you share the effort because it's pretty easy for one person to lead this process. But when summer comes or holidays come, vacations start happening, this can fall apart very quickly if it's a person-dependent process. The sixth point is there's a rule of that. When you have a run chart, in about at least 10 data points on a chart, you can begin to use probability-based rules to interpret your results and look at evidence of improvement. So these rules are for tests that look for non-random patterns, or patterns that are unlikely to have occurred by chance. So to apply these rules, you need to first construct a median for your first 10 data points. Then you can look for one of the four following rules. And principally, one of these rules is sufficient to conclude that you do have a signal of improvement or change your process. So rule number one is a shift. So if you have more than 10 data points, you've constructed your median, you can start looking for a shift. A shift is 6 or more consecutive points all above or below the median. This will provide a signal to you that there might be improvement in your system because it's very likely this shift is likely to have occurred by chance. Rule number two is a trend. So this is shown by 5 or more consecutive points, all ascending or all decreasing. Rule 3 is the number of runs. So too many or too few runs that cross the median. So those runs are the line that connects the points. This is based on a predetermined table of the expected number of runs would be if your data was randomly scattered about the median. So in this situation here, we see there's only one line crossing the median, and that's too few runs, probably evidence of an improvement. The fourth rule is not a probability-based rule, or one for judgment. Rule 4 is an astronomical point, an obvious or even blatantly different value from the rest of the point. And it's kind of determined by everyone who looks at the chart would agree that point is unusual. It's not the highest or the lowest point. It's an exceptionally unusual point. If you'd like to learn more about run chart rules and how to interpret your run chart, we do have a supplement that was made available with the agenda that was sent out. And Anna's going to bring me up a little later for download so that you can take a look at that. A lot of the information is taken from references on the screen right here. The last point is don't go it alone. Be key with existing data source and data that's already collected and available to you. And now to talk more about some of these, I'm going to transition to a conversation with the Collaborative Medical Director, Dr. Len Berry, and my colleague, Stephanie. Welcome to both.
Thank you.
So, Rendo, I'd like to start asking you for your reflections on quality improvement data. In my experience, data measurement can be really challenging for teams. Sometimes it can create real barriers to progression of teams. And sometimes it doesn't truly reflect all that the teams are doing. So when you think about your experience gathering and using quality improved data, what is your best advice for teams that are struggling?
Thanks for the question. I'd like to start by acknowledging how well you articulated these 7 points that you talk about, because really emphasizes the experience collaborative that drive change and front of collecting data. It's Albert Einstein who actually had a quote suggesting that not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that can be counted. While that is important, the right data is essential. It is easy to feel overwhelmed, as you have suggested in your presentation, by increasing the amounts of data being collected and not knowing what to do with. Understanding what is important for you helps to evaluate that account should not be counted. Throughout the mention again, this collaborative, we have underscored the value of data for building a strong argument for change. And so my experience and my advice is no different what you have actually stated. But essentially, is don't let the lack of data stop your quality improvement journey. Maybe what you do is developing a strong data reporting system as first step to quality improvement. And don't wait for the perfect data. Just input does not exist. So many different reasons why data might be representing different things that you don't even understand. I suggested creative, simple, and no limitations. No limitations. I always like to think about one of the collaborative teams that participated in the previous collaborative, mainly picked the simplicity of the approach. And that was the important clinic in the downtown inside Vancouver. They did not have initially did not have any systems in place to collect data, but they decided to take pictures every day at the trash can of the hotel where the clinic was placed. And they noticed a significant number of tails of every kind, including retrovirals, were being found. And for a period of time, and after many snapshots, they saw a decrease on the number of pills that were being put to the trash can. That was as a result of some of the implementation they have. And medication management support was one of the implementations, the changes that they introduced, and resulted not only in a decrease of the drugs being dropped in the trash can, but parallel to that, we also managed to get reports from us. As you will later see the aggregate reports, the profile reports, and show a significant decrease on the proportion of individuals who have detectable load. So simplicity, creativity, over a period of time pairing up with other non-data sources will lead you to some of these needs for data.
Thank you. I like what you said there about don't wait for, or don't let lack of data stop your improvement journey. And I know you worked extensively on creating systems to be able to share useful data with the teams. So can you tell us a little bit more about some of the data that's already out there and is available for use by teams?
Sure. Before I do that, I also want you to maybe emphasize another point. I think understanding what's important for your goals as a team and quality improvement team will help to evaluate what you want to change, whether it's through data accounts or what should be counted. And but don't forget that errors using inadequate data are much less than those using no data at all. So it's better to have bad data than not having any data. So in regard to the sources of data that people can use now, I just gave you a quick example of the pictures that were taken for the clinic. And there are many other sources at your disposal. Maybe it's your booking appointments, maybe the paper pictures that you have, or the electronic records. In BC, we're fortunate to have strong system-driven data systems. Some of these systems were not created for the purpose of quality improvement, so there is an inherent limitation of those systems. But more specifically in BC, we have the BC Center for Disease Control that brings the AD testing data through surveillance reports, and we have the BC Center of clinical data that looks mostly at clinical outcomes. Within mine, we have two types of reports, and Stephanie will be talking a little bit later about some of them. The quarterly monitoring report that you're pretty aware, it's been generated with the purpose of provide a collection of indicators, system indicators that might be helpful for setting priorities, planning and implementation of programs and interventions, and monitoring how the system is performing over a period of time. This is a highly technical document with definitions, and I would say complex definitions. And if you take it to a complexity, you can get modeling and all the things that have to be done in regards to publications and in journals and so on. And the second information that is available for you now is practice profiles. And practice profiles have evolved over a period of time. In the previous collaborative, we have a particular version of that, but as we transition into new collaborative, we also have taken some time to reflect on some of the indicators. Again, I'd like to remind you that although this is an effort to give you some data, that data is not perfect and has some limitations. I think Stephanie will talk more about some of those, how to access this on the profiles. Suffice to say that we're trying to respond to the lack of data that some of the teams might have.
And that's perfect segue. I have something here that's going to speak about the practical reports. And Stephanie on developing these reports. So Stephanie, can you start telling us a little bit about the evolution that these gone through?
Sure. So when we set out to redevelop the POF reports, we were aiming to provide a user-friendly tool that could be used for quality improvement purposes. We wanted to develop a tool that could help chart and prioritize quality improvement initiatives and track progress over time. So we did scan similar tools up to other examples for inspiration, and we incorporated some of these ideas like a graphic and tested the reports of small groups of clinicians and public health practitioners. We also tested the sensitivity of indicators before finalizing the changes as went along. In the end, what we have is a tool with revised indicators and a new graphic of the cascade of care to visually highlight gaps, among other changes.
So tell me, we have them on the screen right now. I'm going to ask Anna to pull them up because there's examples there that are available to download because it might be a little bit difficult to look at this one right now. So you can download them, take a look at them. Can you tell me what people are going to find in those reports?
Sure. So for starters, there are two types of HIV profile reports intended for two different audiences. The first type is what we call personalized active profile reports, and these are intended for physicians and nurse practitioners. The second type of report is called HSDA reports, health service facility reports, and these are intended for regional coordinators in the collaborative and team. To get a sense of what these reports look like, you can follow along as Kristen mentioned. You can download the files that are available at the left of the chat box. And while people are downloading the report, I'd like to mention that while their use for quality improvement is important, note that it's not suitable for other purposes like research. This is because reports are based on information provided to BC-CfE, and it's being complete or inconsistent with their health records. So while we encourage you to use the information in the report for your quality improvement initiatives, it is not intended for other purposes. So hopefully if you have pulled up the reports now, and you'll see that overall the reports have a similar look and content. So the top section of the report shows you how many clients are in your population, or roster as we call it, and the quality measurement outcomes follow. So the first quality measurement outcome should familiar to you. Make part of the cascade of care. For those of you on my phone, the three indicators I'm referring to are engaged clients, antiretroviral therapy uptake, and viral suppression among clients on antiretroviral therapy. The fourth indicator is a new addition to the report. Viral suppression among clients on the roster aims to defend viral suppression for your population overall. And as well for clinicians, on the personalized practice profile reports, we've added client lists to facilitate follow-up.
So I've heard talk a lot, some of these indicators will look very familiar firstly to people who have seen this report perhaps dating back to January 2011. It existed under the term POF report. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the changes that people might see with the report itself?
Sure. So those of you who are familiar with the POF report, some indicators were consolidated. Previously there were some measures of AR to take, so we've consolidated those into one. Again, as I mentioned, viral control among clients on the roster is new. And that change that it used to be that the reports referred to anyone ever registered for a particular clinician. Now the report for back 3 years, so something to be mindful of.
And we've had conversations at length about what's contained within these reports, especially about the quality of the data and the purpose of the data being for quality improvement. Can you tell me why it's important for everyone to keep that in mind, how it influences the way you would use this kind of data?
Sure. So the reports are drawing on data from the BC-CfE database, and these are dynamic, meaning that the new patient information is received on an ongoing basis and updated in the database. But that's not to say that the information is perfect, that it takes the place of clinical records. It can still be useful, like you said, for quality improvement. So what these reports provide is really a snapshot that can help target improvements. The clinician, for example, this could involve more targeted follow-up with clients. This brings me to another point, which is that clinicians finding assistance with their records, we encourage them to let know. They can do this by making notes in the patient list, someone's report. So, for example, you could have someone who moved out of your area, and then facts back with using the confidential factor that we provided. And because of the sensitive nature of information in these lists, we ask that clinicians only communicate changes to confident facts.
Perfect. So that would apply in the case of you where you practice and you receive an actual patient list of your patient. You'd work with the center to make sure their list is relevant and everyone on it is who you're most responsible for, so it's useful for you.
For sure, yeah, helping to improve the data.
All right, can you tell us where you can get these?
Sure, so to request a report, ask that you fill the request letter template, return it by fax. You can access the template online by logging into Stop HBA's website. And once logged in, you'll find download the HIV Care Continuum Collaborative Resource Library. And we've made request types available for download as well previously. We can pull that slide again.
The download slide, Anna. And for those of you, I know Pauline, you mentioned that you were able to download. I will send one to Pauline, but if anyone else is having trouble, please let me know by the chat box, and I can follow up directly with you to send the example. Okay, just to recap, what we've heard is that these are new and improved practice-style reports. There's two versions. Well, one is for an individual clinician who will have an MSP number. Secondly, we also have available the HSTA level report. This is for your HSTA. It can be requested by your needs within your health facility, or if you have an MSP number, you can request one directly. Stephanie shared with us the process for requesting those reports, so you can log in to the website and download the request letter and fax it or fax it and fax it. Anything else that the two would like to add?
I'd like to maybe stress the fact that practice profile reports and source of data might be different than other sources that people might have in their own offices, in their own health authority, or compare with other reports that we have generated. And be careful when you compare and understand the source of the data. For instance, if you're comparing your own electronic record, you might have more up-to-date information that we do. So therefore, there might be some changes explained that way. So just be careful of how you particularly the one that is in the quality improvement, which have stressed throughout the conversation that is not a perfect data. not being perfect, you have cost.
Excellent. I'm going to now turn over to you. If you have any questions, I think the whole room is unmuted, but so you can speak up if you can unmute your own line. Alternatively, you can also chat any questions into the chat box. Looks like we have typing a question, and again, any question related to the earlier content or to requesting the practice profile report or to what's in profile reports themselves.
If I may, while people are thinking about their questions, I'd also like to flag that among the files that you can download are the notes and limitations for each respective cohort. So this will outline definitions of the indicators that we created, and a copy of this is sent to each with each report.
A question from Jade. Could you please send the paper that describes the rules for run chart report interpretation? Absolutely. And those were also included earlier in a supplement document, we called it, and sent it with the agenda. I'll follow up with everyone who's on the call. Jade, I'm not sure who you are. Jennifer. Of course, yeah, Jennifer may have it. That's great. I'll be sure to follow up with you. And the resources, the references and links in the supplemental document, and those are really excellent resources if you're interested in learning more about sort of the theory behind those interpretations and more advanced tools that you can use for interpreting what's called a control chart. That's taking it to another level, but then needs even more data over time for those to work. So maybe while other people are thinking about questions, I'm going to pose a question to you. What, in terms of your measurement journey, what has been your biggest hurdle to collecting data? I repeat the question one more time. So in terms of your quality improvement journey and your measurement journey, what has been your biggest hurdle to collecting data, to getting started and keeping momentum for collecting data? And Rolando, I'm going to ask you to comment on that.
Yes, great. Thanks. And I was just reflecting on the question. This is what I asked again. I thought, I set myself back early 2003 when we started the journey of quality improvement at the HIV clinics and Pulse. And it was not so much the lack of data, but how to convince our clinicians and epidemiologists and scientists that the value of looking at the data from a quality improvement perspective and how this would be different from the traditional epidemiological approach that we take. So from not necessarily lacking data, but having data, but not necessarily for make available for the quality improvement purposes. So you in fact might have a lot of data already, but you just don't know it, and you're not applying it from the quality improvement perspective.
So I see that Lana has posed a question also, wondering if any of the teams, the time of engaged with clients, social data, housing, transportation, etc., issues would maybe barriers to moving along the cascade. And so Jennifer mentioned, yes, interior health does collect social data during a first contact with really engaged clients. Jennifer, I'm wondering if you might be able to unmute your line and tell us a little bit more about some of the social data that you're collecting and how you use that data. And then I start typing here in folders there. So I'm hearing a little bit of background noise, so if you're not speaking, maybe just try using line, please. It's muted. Sure, just like, oh. So Jennifer's mentioned we collect housing, transportation, economic housing. We use the data to link to social services, assist clients in accessing these resources. Excellent. Anyone else on the call use the social data as well? How do you use it for improvement?
I'm while we wait for other answers. I might think about, I know of several teams participating in the collaborative, collecting some of these data and using them for their own quality improvement purposes, particularly around the outreach and even some clinical services in my own clinical practice where I practice with collect this data in an ongoing basis in terms of housing, food security, income support, and social support, and so on. The overall problem that we have is that we have consistent way of measuring, and there is not really one way to report this, to just monitor at system level any of these changes. Of course, I'm talking about system level. I'm also reminding people that at the program level, at the service level, can collect and can use for the purpose. So this may not have a good system level information. Local services might be already doing it. In addition, there are other research studies that are also looking at some specifics about this. And in the past, the Center of Excellence has some cohort. The one that I come to my mind is the LISA cohort that was concluded about 2 years ago, but collected large volumes of data on some social determinants, and there were actually many publications out of that. Again, those are only snapshots of information. There's not much on longitudinal information. Currently, we have a couple of projects at the Center of Excellence. We have the ENGAGE study that looks at individuals who are starting therapy and look at some of the barriers, include psychosocial barriers. We also have the US research project that looks at women, and we will soon launch another survey participants document program at the Center for Excellence, looking at these specific issues. Again, all are snapshots, but certainly valuable at the system level.
So Jennifer also said, we collect the data within the patient chart and are able to pull the variable to determine how many of the active clients are experiencing various social economic issues. Anyone else using social data? Do you use it in a similar way or something different? So I'm just hearing a little bit of background noise, so if you can hear that would be great. Well, whether you're collecting social data or other kind of quality improvement data that relate to your aim, one of the things that I've seen in some high-performing teams is that they regularly institute data review meetings. If you're meeting monthly, devoting, say, 15 minutes of each monthly meeting, or if you're meeting twice a month, devoting a certain amount of time within each of those meetings to review your quality improvement measures on an ongoing basis. So there's ways to do this in a structured way, looking at your data. If you have enough data, you can use one-chart rules. Always thinking about, does this data tell us if we're reaching our aims? So is there anyone else on the call who has a structured way for looking at the data and reviewing the data to learn from it and to direct your steps?
Maybe while we wait for some responses, I can tell you what I do in my practice. So normally we generate for very similar to the profile report we released today, and there's someone, usually a nurse in our practice, go over the list and focus on people who are still detectable. Not because one of them treatment, but if somebody becomes detectable, need treatment becomes detectable, there's something else happening, whether it is the lack of housing or income supports or food security, any kind of potential barrier that my client might be experiencing. That are flags. So with that, what we do is once we identify, there might be reasons why people might be detectable, we know, so people have chosen not to treatment, for instance. We understand that and prevent from bullying them more than we should. But for those who need to be in therapy and they have agreed to be on therapy but become detectable, we have a system where we call them back, either by telephone or by contacts that they have given us in the incentives. We have agreed for us to contact them, or a letter if that's the case. And so that helps us to minimize the number of people who actually stop therapy and becomes detectable. So this is very much a routine. So I think, to your previous question, the key is it's not just enough to generate data, it's what do you do with the data. And I think being proactive is one way to do it. And I know other programs like Central Interior Native Health Clinic and Vancouver Native Health Clinic and so many other programs now that are very proactive using similar approaches.
Can you tell us a little bit more, and maybe Central Interior would like to ask a comment about how they review their data and act on it. What's the regularity with which you look at that data, or how do you standardize that process of the act?
Yeah. So it's, what we have done as quality improvement, this process has been refined because even from the original reports that we had, there were flaws in the way we're reporting the data and so on. So it was assigned, this role was assigned to a clinical nurse within our group. Of course, we do have the advantage of having nurses in other practices may not. But so whoever is the most available or appropriate individual to contact with the clients, I think that's the key. And having that conversation with the provider, in this case, with the physician, and asking, from this list, who are you worried about? And then doing that systematically once a month, so that list is generated once a month and it's updated and monitored. So what we normally see is after these 2 to 3 hours of connecting with people, we'll see people coming back, whether they're restarting their treatment or not, that's a different conversation. But it's just by having them reconnect with us and try to address some of the barriers, whether it's housing or income support, certainly makes a difference in the long term. And sometimes cultural issues that we were not aware, people moving up north, and because that's the nature pattern of mobilization. And so ensuring that when they do, we're aware and they have a plan in place so when they stop therapy, they are running out of therapy, there are mechanisms for us to deliver some of the medication. So it's very much embedded in the system. It's someone already has that role, the patients are expected to have conversation, and then the approach to the client happens, and then monitor who's reading or
So I'm sure you'd be able to comment on this, but what do you think the call would first look like before you got appointed to the lead, before you did this sort of proactive approach? What are the outcomes before and after?
It's a good question. I don't think I have look at that close in terms of outcomes. What I can tell you is how quality improve normal habits. This champion is an individual who's concerned, who's doing something on the side and start showing, okay, by doing this, making such changes. And I'm not in the patient actually connected. And then the other clinicians in your team are looking, oh, if this is working for you, why, and we should do it for everyone. And so I think in a time in way, what drives that kind of initial, I would say the TD say initial testing, you want to maybe call it informed, but that initial step of having that enough concern to do something, and that's it. And also people realize that, oh, yeah, we need to do this for everyone. It's not only for Orlando or patients.
Yeah, it's really important thing to have a champion, to have a lead, and also, as mentioned, to get a coalition to bring some people on board, let them participate in the process, and have develop ownership, and create a sort of a tipping point where people don't want to feel excluded, so they start coming to for full development.
So, a few years ago, I wouldn't know we're stopping therapy until they actually get back from later and being in the hospital with an funny level. Now I know, and I'm proactively trying to bring them back and ensure that they have some level of contact with the system. And so it goes part care with the changes in the way you deliver the system. So I mean, knowing that 10% of patients are not therapy is not enough. It really is enough. Then what am I doing with that 10%? Am I treating them? Am I understanding the barriers and the issues and the challenges so I can start working with addressing the challenges? And I know that a clinician have limited scope on looking at their housing, other than maybe providing them with a little support they can get resources, housing, and so on. But having a team member or connecting with community, right community support, and referring the client and ensuring that referral goes through, will resolve that thing that we need.
Absolutely. Again, anyone has a question about any of the content from the call today, please to write it in the chat box or to speak up. I think all of the news and the letter at that point. And perhaps we wait. I was wondering, I might ask you, you put your hand up when I asked about make it easy sort of process. Is your measurement process like this? Do any of these points resonate with you for improving that process, or is it something different about the measurement process you have that makes it so complicated and hard?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
So actually, it's just because I guess a variety of circumstances, and we don't really report on because we're not direct service providers, different things like that. So I guess through the call, I understood that there's a lot of different ways that we can begin to report and do quality improvement measures.
Absolutely. I think
Probably would be better off as going in the next one, going in the next answer, rather than I'll learn my head then.
Anything from the Get Creative, like how you might be able to look at different sources of data that are available to you, or different ways to collect and observe your environment that might be helpful. has to be determined.
This is Janice from the Health Outreach Program.
Go ahead.
Portal Bernie. We joined this late, so we're pretty quick. We don't know what went on in the first half, but we've been enjoying this conversation since we joined. In terms of, we're a relatively small program, but we find that we're collecting a lot of data from a lot of different sources. And so what does a little bit is trying to put together one tool that's going to capture everything coming from different directions. I think the idea of writing this down, how we do it, would probably be clarifying for us. I think that's a really good idea. But as we put it in, the nurses feed the information that we need to our admin supporters, and she calls the reports, and she'll put in footnotes with just an initial of the people who are skewing, who are causing the poor result, put it that way. So we know who those people are that have to zoom in on. And then monthly we review that prior to our specialist clinic and look at who are the people who are having challenges right now. We discuss it as a team. We put together new strategies. We review that with the doctor, put it into our care plan, and then monthly we review that again. So it's like connecting everything that comes from client back to the client in order to make changes, and we try to do this together as a team as much as possible.
And I think really does not decide.
Yeah, so I think you're right on. I think how this, what we learn from this data makes down to the client, make back to the client, which is really the relevant aspect of what we're trying to accomplish, right? So whether it is addressing psychosocial needs or improving support so they can get their medication, or learn that they actually decide not to take medication, and then we understand and we need to support them in a different way. So I think you're right on that aspect. This is the critical piece. I'd like to come quickly in something that you said, because I think we speak about how quality improvement programs need to evolve over a period of time. So, at the beginning, you might have some data in your office is incomplete, you don't understand it very well, start collecting and refine it, but still it's not enough quality. You look outside, the BC-CfE, the Center for Excellence, get some data, and you have ownership of that data. Somebody else is feeding that data for you, and so depending on the frequency of reporting, the timing of reporting, how busy the other side is, or whether the systems are down or not, and so on. So highly dependent in external data sources. So you eventually will to move in, think about how you generate your own data. And as Christina said, the call is how you just get enough data, just the right amount of data you need to continue working your program. So I think the challenge not for Janice, but for everyone, is how we move now to the next level, from not having data to having some data highly dependent from outside to only on data to continue journey. And I see your team very much in that process already. Just now start to think about how you collate these different sources of data. With your own data, you will eventually develop your own capacity. And this is what initially said. You might actually could start your quality improvement journey by looking at how to collect data.
And Janet, it sounds like you have a really well-developed process, and you mentioned maybe you want to document it a little bit more. You've been working on this a very long time, and the maturation of your improvement measurement is pretty obvious in the person you just described. So that's wonderful. I just want to direct your attention to the chat box. Jennifer mentioned we're just starting a media campaign and trying to look at innovative data sources for general HIV knowledge and stigma. So that sounds really interesting, Jennifer, and hopefully we'll be able to share that with us down the road. Just so much to discuss, but our time is unfortunately running out. Just a few collaborative updates. Reporting deadline was earlier this month. If you do still have one, we can accept those until the end of this week. December 5th is next reporting deadline. December 9th, we are at a conference, and then January is our learning session 4, and this will be sort of a simple session as it will mark our transition from the active improvement phase, the collaborative, into a period of renewal, improvement, and of sustainability. So I hope to see many of your faces at that session. And finally, thank you for joining us. Great questions, great discussion, and have a wonderful day and rest of your week. Take care.